Hey, fish peeps, what's happening? Biggs has been away for a while. I know I've been totally been delinquent in giving you guys any sort of updates. I'm putting out videos and stuff like that for you guys to look at, but one thing I haven't given you is I haven't given you any updates as to where the room's at, what's going on. So we're gonna correct that right now. Let's get to it. Now, when we get into it, you guys are going to see some things. You're going to say, hey, Biggs, it doesn't look any different than last time. And that's kind of partially true. There's some things we're going to talk about. There's some things that have been happening, some things haven't been happening, and there's reasons behind all of them. Like, for example, this thing. But we're going to get into it right now. So let's get started. Well, the first thing you'll probably notice when you go around the room is you see all the little patches on the walls and stuff. I just started patching that up. There's a reason for that, too. I'm debating whether or not I want to change the color of that wall before we go and start working on the jungle riparian. Now, there are reasons that that hasn't happened yet. Now, as I mentioned before, remember we were going to do the planter boxes at the back there? Well, that idea has been kind of scrapped. I didn't like the idea of the seams in between the planter boxes, and the planter boxes don't fit the full space. The tank doesn't fit the full space. There's all these kind of weird shaped things. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building out of plywood. We're going to be building a large L-shaped box that's going to fit this exact space of this whole area and that whole area as one seamless box. And then we're going to paint it inside with epoxy as if I'm building a plywood aquarium. And then that is also going to have edges that are going to overlap a little bit. It's going to be a little bit higher than here. Overlap on the front, or on both sides, the back and the side, and that way for any water possible overflow, any spillage, anything like that, nothing's going to go between the tank and that. And that'll also give us a way of hiding, concealing the over hoses for the Eheim canister filter, which will be running this tank, and the canister filter that'll be running water from to and from that filter. That natural filter, I guess, and that's going to be fully planted. It's going to be a fully planted box. I still got to find some sort of aggregate, but up here in Canada, I know I've said it many times, it sounds like a broken record, access to trying to find some of the materials is, you'd think with now it's starting to get easier. It's not. It's actually, sometimes it's getting harder. I couldn't find a tube of silicone for almost 3 weeks. But I've got some awesome ideas for plans of how we're going to be putting this. So when this does happen after that box, this is going to come fast and furious. You notice there's no lights on that tank. Some of the plants have been moved. You guys have seen that the Congo tank has been, all the buffalo heads came out of quarantine, and that super cool Synodontis angelicus, they're all in there. I haven't seen the catfish since we went in there, but I see the buffalo heads every day when I feed them. Still absolutely love looking at this tank. I'm still waiting for the plants to kind of establish. I did change the light fixture. I went to a different, it's a Marine Land LED fixture that I had from long ago. It's a little bit dimmer, and I think it's kind of cut back and slowed down that cyanobacteria. I do have that medicine ordered. No, I don't know if it's medicine, but that product for handling blue-green bacterial algae. It is coming, but I ordered it almost 3 weeks ago, and I'm not expecting it from Amazon until the end of March. So you can see it's not readily available. Tarantula Wall, nothing changed there, nothing. But again, you see the same sort of thing all along here. So I'm debating whether I want to go away from the green. That's where all the DFO posters used to be, the Dead Fish Order posters. You'll also notice the lights are missing, right? So what's going on? Well, what's happening is I've had one tarantula escape out of this area a while ago. We found it, so everything's good. But it was a ground-dwelling tarantula. So I thought, no big deal, ground-dwelling tarantula gets out. It's logically going to be probably near the ground, right? No problem, we found it, big deal. But what if one of my arboreals got out? I have nothing to stop it from going anywhere. As you can see by the incredible workmanship, we bought this house, it was basically a brand new house. And all this electrical running on the ceiling, it doesn't go against code, but it's just very, very sloppy work. And it made it for the fact that we cannot do anything other than a suspended ceiling in this room. Each one of these trusses has a knockout. It's a hole I'm pointing at right there, if you can see it or not. And you just hit that with your hammer and it punches right out. Every single one of these boards has knockouts. I think it's every 16 inches or 24 feet or something like that. You just pop them out and you run wires through them. But the guy that did this house built everything himself and did very, very kind of sloppy, shoddy kind of work in regards to that aspect. So the only thing we can do is a suspended ceiling. So My father-in-law is very, very good at doing the suspended ceiling. He did it in my daughter's room in the basement. It's all nice and clean, looks super, super awesome. So I thought, hey, perfect, let's go and do it in the fish room. So we had to go and keep buying. I had some stuff left over from doing, we did the bedroom before, we did the spare bedroom, but we haven't done anything else in the basement yet at all, because this whole space, as you guys know, this is going to be for the big tank. We've already got the wood and we've got the glass ordered, so it's actually happened. It's getting closer. And with the price of this stuff being absolutely sky high right now, I had to go and get a few more parts. So I got 5 pieces there that are 12 feet long, and I got 2 more boxes of tiles upstairs, and I got 18 of the little pieces, the T-pieces, that are 2 feet long for the cross braces. And up here, that was over $375. It's hard to imagine it, but you know, it'll really solve the problem in this room. So that way I think about, you know, when we move the geckos, this tank's getting ready. This tank, you know, the light's not there, but it's getting ready. As soon as we're ready to go, I can move the geckos over. But moving something that can climb literally everything, that's terrifying. How do I ever work in the tank if it could get out? So once it has a ceiling, you know, we'll solve all that, patch all these. I'm not worried about them all being real nice and pretty, but they'll be patched and cleaned up, and then they'll be painted. I've also got the wood upstairs for the canopy for here, and I have the stand built for here. Obviously it goes there, but this moves right over there, so it's a 4-foot stand. There's that other stand that's ready to go for those 410s on the bottom. You can see it's a little bit longer, it comes out a little bit further, and then it's got a different space up top for this 4 feet, but it's going to fit exactly in that spot. And then these are those these are the pieces that we're going to be used for building that quick little canopy for on top of the Congo tank. And we've got the tank. So I only wanted a small rack to go in there, and I wanted to be able to kind of what I call going old school aquatics. So these are just basic 10-gallon tanks. They're all brand new. I got them made by my guy. He custom made me some lids so they can go lengthwise. And then we got these kind of 2 cube style tanks. They are 24 long front, and they are 15 tall and 18 front to back. So they're going to be on the 2 cubes are going to be on the top, and the 4 of these are going to be on the next row below, and they've all got lids. And it's going to go in that space there. Remember, that canister filter won't be there, but I'm trying to eliminate as much stuff out of the room as I can right now to get ready for my father-in-law to come help me do the suspended ceiling. I say help, but more than likely I'm just going to get him tools. He's the one that knows how to do it really well, and I don't know if I have the patience to do that. So yeah, so there's the tree that goes over top of the Amazon aquarium. There's the part of the table that was supporting the light over top of the Tokyo Gecko Palace. Obviously, it won't be going up. We're going to go get some of those nice little clip-on hooks that click right into the track of the suspended ceiling. But this project, even though it doesn't look like anything has happened, this is the project I've been tinkering around with the most. I've got designs and plans drawn up of several different things. I've got placements of plants. I've got special types of pots ordered and different types of hardware cloth. So we're going to have to find a way to mount plant pots, certain types of pots, into certain strategic places within this environment, and then wrap them, and then foam and silicone and do everything so they all become an integral part of that wall, but also in a way that they're held in place that as everything in this jungle riparium becomes heavier and grows, and water, that nothing will just start falling, because if any one of those pots were to fall, it would rip a massive chunk of the wall out as well. So it's a big procedure to go and get this done. There's a lot of planning that has to happen, but I am excited to be able to throw that nice big Belletti eye up in there. I'm looking at putting it off into this right-hand corner, and this big space here on the bottom left, that whole space is going to be a big split-leaf monstera is going to be going there. I've got all sorts of other types of things. We can put some Andesoni in there, Masqueletto in there. We do different types of Raphidoras and Monsteras and stuff like that. All sorts of weird viney stuff. And most of this is going to get taken care of. And then most of this branch, under the good lighting, we're going to be putting stuff like bromeliads and some different types of orchid species, like it would be in the wild, and let that whole tree slowly get taken over. And then the lighting is going to be up there. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to build kind of a little bulkhead out. That'll be flush with the front corner there. It'll come out, and then it'll kind of join in here. And then the light will be inside. Now, originally I had intended of trying to find different types of lighting and using lighting down below for the planted aquarium and lighting above for that. But I think this special type of light that I got will be good enough to do probably both, but this won't become a super high-tech planted tank. I still will use CO2, but I'm kind of leaning towards something a little bit lower tech plant-wise, a little slower growing plant-wise, not trying to go those real highlight plants. And maybe I'm even debating the idea of even doing it of something maybe of a subtle, maybe a little bit of black water tint with some leaf litter. So in my lighting graveyard, I still have, this is that Blau fixture from Germany that uses 4T5s. This is what I was originally going to be using on that tank over top of the tank itself. But I'm not going to get rid of this one. This is such an awesome fixture. And a lot of these fixtures are getting harder and harder to get. This one is all aluminum, it has heat sinks, and has 2 cooling fans. Real high-end fixture. I don't want to get rid of that. I still have a couple of the old Hagen ones. This is a 4-tube. This is a twin tube. I have some of the older, cheaper, entry-level kind of LEDs where you put the different pucks in. But this is that sexy light that we're going to be using for that riparium. This is a Mars Hydro. This is intended for hydroponic use. Each one of these is an LED cell. This is a 300-watt fixture. This is intended for, the people who want to cultivate plants at home. You guys know what kind of plants I'm talking about. This is one of those high-end lights that is used for doing those type of things. So I think we're going to get some pretty insane, serious growth going in there. So I think you guys can see, as much as it doesn't sound like the update that I was hoping for, or that maybe you were hoping for, but there's been a lot of changes, even though it doesn't look like there's been a lot of changes. Sorry, I've been kind of distant trying to get some stuff. I've just been trying to, every time I try and go into a project, there seems to be one hurdle after another. So getting these little walls patched up, getting ready for the ceiling. That's going to start tomorrow. It'll be a start to finish. He's the master for doing that, so I'm just going to let him go and let him do it, and then we can really start rocking and rolling. We got some fancy Gucci lights. They finally showed up in Amazon, so those guys are on some nice little LED light strips. They're not on a timer yet, but they'll get set up quick. This bulkhead that I mentioned is also going to conceal and hide the misting system, which will also be tied in as well for the Gecko Palace. And once the geckos get moved over and this project kind of starts to take shape, well, then we can turn our attention back to stuff like the Beast. The Beast is going to get a complete overhaul, and instead, like I had mentioned, that big vivarium we were planning for upstairs, what's going to be changing is I think this is more than likely going to be set up for the Amazons. Because one's sitting down there, and the boy's sitting up there right now. And they really need to be something shown off. So I think this is going to be absolutely ideal for them. So that's it for today, my friends. Hope you guys enjoyed the update. At least you have a clue what's going on. I actually have a bit of a clue what's going on for once. That's pretty cool. But the fact that we're going to get that ceiling done right away, man, that just gives me so much reinvigoration and excitement again. I really want to start getting pounding out some of these projects now. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, guys. Till next time, take care.